안녕하세요. Hey guys, it's Serena. Welcome back to Fantastic Korean Dishes, where we cook up simple but delicious Korean meals. Now, I have a very special recipe for you kimchi lovers out there. Now, I know kimchi is like the perfect side dish for any Korean meal. But did you know you can use it as a main ingredient in a lot of different recipes? Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for Kimchi Jeon, and it is going to be super easy. That's because kimchi already is so full of flavor, you don't really need to add much else. And as a bonus, I'm also going to teach you how to make 장아찌, which is a Korean style pickled vegetables, and it's so good. We're going to just use the brine to dip the jeon in, and it makes for a perfect snack or meal. All right, if you're ready, let's get cooking. All right, let's start off with the kimchi jeon. So we're gonna need a quarter of an onion. So you want to thinly slice them. So if you cut them too thick, it's going to take a longer time to cook, and that makes about a quarter of an onion. Next, you're going to need 1 hot chili pepper. So this is 청양고추. So I'm going to take the stem off the top, and we're going to thinly slice them in rounds. So we're going to keep everything nice and thin. Next, we're going to slice the kimchi, and when I slice kimchi, I like to have a nice dark cutting board like this. Okay, we are going to slice our kimchi to about 1 centimeter in thickness. So I'm going to lay it down flat like this, line it up nice and straight, and then at the very end, you'll have like a thicker part of the kimchi. A lot of people just throw this away, but I like to use everything. You can just chop this up nice and thin. Okay, I'm going to put that in our bowl. Now, don't be afraid to add in some kimchi juice to the mixture. And when you do that, you're going to not only add a lot of flavor, but you're going to add a beautiful red color to the jeon. Okay, we're going to create the batter for the jeon. It's super easy. So Koreans love to eat pancakes or jeon. So today's recipe calls for half a cup. So that means we put in also a half a cup of water. Now if you want to make more, you can double the vegetables and then also double the amount of the flour and water. We're going to give it a nice good whisk. Just make sure that all the lumps are smoothened out. You have a nice smooth consistency. And usually these pancake mixes are already seasoned, so you don't need to add any salt or anything else. It's already seasoned. And once that's done, first we're going to add in the sliced onions. And as you're putting it in, just make sure that you separate some of the onions. Next, we're going to add the 청양고추, or the hot chili peppers. If you're ever touching 청양고추 with your hands, make sure you never touch your eyes. We're going to add in our kimchi. So this is 300 grams. We're going to give it a nice mix. Make sure you are gentle with it. You don't want to be crushing the ingredients. I like to use a spatula like this. All right, everything is mixed in together. Everything's coated with the batter. Now we're going to fry it on our pan. To a preheated pan, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of grapeseed oil. So you want to add a generous amount because you don't want the pancakes to stick or burn. I want to move the pan around just to get the oil all over the pan. Now I'm going to bring down the heat to medium heat. Okay, I'm going to put the batter right on top of the pan. And using my spatula, I'm just going to create a nice round shape and make sure that the thickness is also even. You don't want it to be too thick. And then using your spatula, you want to kind of just give it a nice lift all around, because eventually what you want is the pancake to be able to move and shift around, because we're going to be moving the pancake around so that the heat is really cooking the pancake evenly. There we go. See? You want it to move. And using a chopstick, what I like to do with Kimchi Jeon is kind of just poke holes all around, and that's going to allow the jeon to really cook better. And the way you know that it's done is you'll see on the edges it's going to start to cook. And then once you see that the side is starting to cook, I'm going to go underneath and okay, just to ensure that it doesn't burn. Oh, that looks amazing. Okay, I'm going to flip it one last time back on its original side. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off. We have a nice round plate here. Wow, that looks so good. We have our kimchi jeon. Now we're going to create 장아찌, which is such a wonderful recipe to know. It's pickled vegetables or just simply Korean pickles. We're going to need a lot of onions, so I'm going to peel the red onion. Just cut the tops off, and using your hands, just peel the outermost layer. Now in Korean cuisine, people use red onions in 장아찌 or salads. They have a milder taste than regular white onions and they're not as spicy. So if you don't really like the spice of onions, what you could do is actually just use red onions altogether. Okay, so the way we're going to cut them, we're going to cut the onion right in half. We're going to cut them in thirds. Okay, we're going to turn them around. We're going to cut them in half and then cut them in half again. So we're going to cut them in quarters and then you'll end up with pieces like this. Again, so you want them to be nice bite-sized pieces. And we're going to cut the white onions. We're going to cut them in half and then going against the lines, we're going to cut them in thirds, and then we're going to cut them in quarters. And then cut that in half, and cut the other side in half, and then you'll end up with nice bite-sized pieces. So this recipe calls for 3 onions, generally around 300 grams. Next, we're going to need about 10 cloves of garlic. You can put in a little bit more if you want. We're going to put them in whole, so what we're going to do is just chop off the dry, sort of brownish tip at the end. And usually it's just on one side. Next, we're going to put in some peppers. Today, I'm going to be using 2 red chili peppers and 5 hot chili peppers. So this is 청양고추, okay? And we're going to cut them in rounds with a thickness of about 1 centimeter. So similarly, we just want bite-sized pieces. We don't want them to be sliced thinly, and we want them to be able to easily pick them up with our chopsticks. Okay, same thing. We're going to chop up the 청양고추. So for these, I'm just going to line them up. I'm going to chop them to, again, about 1 centimeter in thickness. And I'm going to just cut them in rounds. Okay, never rub your eyes, even after you've washed your hands. All right, we're going to make the soy sauce brine. Let me grab my pot. Okay, we're going to use a medium-sized pot and we're going to put the ingredients straight into the pot. We're going to put in 1 cup of soy sauce. Next, we're going to put in 500 milliliters of water. 400, 500. Okay, we're going to put in 70 milliliters or 70 grams of sugar. Next, we're going to put in 100 milliliters or half a cup of vinegar. Okay, we're going to give it a nice mix with our whisk. Okay, just make sure all the sugar dissolves. Now we're going to take it to our stovetop. So we're going to turn the stovetop on high heat. What we want is to bring the brine to a boil. And as soon as it boils, we're going to just transfer the brine into the bowl of vegetables. Okay, it's super hot. Be careful. Just pour it all over. Okay. Now just using a wooden spoon, I'm just going to mix all the ingredients just to make sure that all the solid ingredients are nice and submerged. And then we're going to let that sit for a few minutes until the brine has cooled down, and then we're going to transfer it in our Tupperware. So it's been about 20 minutes. Our brine has cooled down. Now we're going to transfer it into our plastic Tupperware. The colors in this look absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to pour in the rest. Okay. And then, just to make sure that everything is nicely sealed in, I'm just going to take a small plastic baggie like this. I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to lay it in flat and then push down with my hands. And then we're going to close up the lid. Okay, now we can let this sit in room temperature for about a day, or you can put it in the fridge once it's completely cooled, and you want to let it sit for about 2 days in the fridge, and then it will be delicious. And after that, you can keep this for about 2 to 3 months. So we have our delicious 장아찌 ready. Now you can make this beforehand, and you can make a big batch, and that's going to save you a lot of time. And then of course our delicious Kimchi Jeon. Oh, so I'm going to just use my chopsticks to split a piece apart. Look at that. Loaded with kimchi and onions. I'm going to dip it in the soy sauce of the 장아찌. Wow, so good. The pancake is nice and soft, but the kimchi is still quite crunchy. And this soy sauce is so good. It's salty and tangy and a little bit sweet. It's perfect. Let me try onion. Okay, so this one has been a few days. As you can see, the onion has caught some of the color from the soy sauce. Not spicy at all. In fact, it's so sweet, so crunchy, and so delicious. So Kimchi Jeon is such a savory and filling and warming snack or a meal. It is so easy to make, and if you serve it with some homemade 장아찌, I promise you your guests will be thoroughly impressed. Definitely give this a try at home. I will be back with another fantastic Korean dish, so be sure to stay tuned. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon. Bye!